What's up, guys? I'm Nick, and this is Build Dad Build, a place where we believe that bigger is always better. That's right, guys. So today, I just received the rotary attachment and the riser for the Muse core behind me. We're gonna install those today, and then we're gonna play with the rotary. I apologize for being in the dark little corner over here. There's not great lighting. So first things first, I'm just gonna tape the lid shut so we don't run into any issues there. Next, we're just gonna disconnect the power and the air assist. If I can get it off there we go, and that guy. And that's just gonna allow us to move this thing around and it not be such a pain in the butt. Next up, I'm just gonna loosen this a little bit. Pull that off. I think I'm gonna leave this on, and I think I'm gonna actually turn this on its side to take the bottom panel off. Okay, so here is one little trick that I've seen is take one of these off. You want to kind of drain the water out and then take one of these and put it back on there, but I just made a big old mess. I wasn't expecting water to come out of the machine when I took the water in out. So basically you just want to take one of these and hook it up to both, and then that way you don't have to worry about any more water issue. Like we already had. I'm just gonna flip this up on this. This is the flattest side of this thing. So I think somebody's gonna tell me this is like the wrong way to do this, I'm assuming. All right, I think we're good. I think we're good. I didn't see a tool in there for this in the riser kit. So this is the one that came with the Muse, but we gotta take all of these screws out and take the floor of the laser out. I also, when I tipped this up, I realized that my honeycomb is in there. I would suggest taking the honeycomb out first. So fun fact, if you have this and you don't have the riser, you can still take this off. You could take this off and like literally set it on a surface and engrave the surface like that. Like set it on a tabletop or a desk. Yep. There's a honeycomb. Yummy. Don't do that. All right. Just gonna bring this guy in here. Turn it over. Let me just swap this plate out. Okay, so after you reinstall the 65,000 screws by hand, it's ready to turn over. So that has always been kind of one of my issues with the design of this thing is for boasting that you can remove this passer, this bottom plate and laser through it. It's kind of a pain in the butt. Like, how about some quick releases or something on the bottom so you could pop it off, it wouldn't be such a big deal. Because this thing's pretty heavy, so like flipping it around and then unscrewing it, it's just exhausting.
It's just exhausting, kids.
But now we are ready to flip this thing over and looking for the front. And we're gonna put you, actually we need room for the exhaust fan and everything, so put you there. We go in. I just remind you, this is not light, and I should probably have two people do it, but I am a one-guy shop, so doing it myself. All right, so look at this big old cheeseburger. So check this thing out. Look how deep this is now. Wow! So deep. Okay, so next up is the rotary. I got you down here on the floor because I'm literally out of space. But this, you're gonna back these guys off a little bit, put this piece on top, and you back this off a little bit more. I don't know if this is optional, you wanna have it on there all the time, but basically what you're gonna do is now you can lift this up, and when you set a cup on here, you can set this down to keep it more stable. Tighten those. I think for the most part, we're good to go. The reason I say that is because these are just kind of floating around in a box. I don't know if these are spare parts. I don't see anything that appears to be missing. I'm assuming these are spare parts, but they weren't like in a baggie or anything. They were just kind of in the box. Okay, so this guy's gonna go in here. And there is a rail right here. See that? There's a rail that's built in right there. So this butts up against that. And this cable pin plugs in here. And everything I said says to feed it up underneath this rail. I don't think you're gonna be able to see it. I don't think I can show it to you, but the attachment point is right here. And it's the only thing there. Next, we're gonna put this in here. We're gonna bring this guy up. And then why is that going back? I don't want that to go back. Oh, interesting, this goes up. Okay, so, all right. So just got a lot of fine tuners here. Fine tuner. Ah! Hold please. This whole thing just scissored up on me. I don't know what's going on. Right, but there's like, look at that. It's not attached.
20 minutes later.
Okay, we're back. That's the thing about making, guys. Sometimes something's a little messed up and you just gotta tweak it. Basically, a couple of these screws had kind of backed out and fallen out. One side of this was not attached. Probably could have called Full Spectrum's support on that. I knew what I needed to do, so I just did it. But you know, if you're not comfortable with that, you can always call support. So this piece lowers down to hold the lip here. And then the main thing you want to be aware of is you want this to be level. Two kind of hacks at this point. One, I've heard that you want to take something like a beanbag or something and stuff it in here. This is not going to fit in here now that I realize that. Feel free to peruse your environment for things to stuff in there. I'm just going to stuff these work gloves. These are chainsaw gloves, so they're a little heavier. They're made out of Kevlar and they're a little thicker. But we're just going to stuff those guys in there. Boop, boop. And that should give us a little bit more heft. The other thing, can't really show you this in there, I just don't have a good camera angle on it. It says somebody using their table saw level to check level. So as long as you can get it to balance on there, it'll tell you which way you need to go, and then you can adjust your scissor lift accordingly. Okay, so we want to find the highest point on the thing that we want to engrave, and then we're going to drop down. My air assist is tighten there. All right, there we go. Tighten that up. And then since I still have my gantry unlocked, I'm just gonna position this right about there. Okay, so we've hopped over into Retina Engrave 3. Now you can come up here into your edit menu, go to settings, and turn on your rotary here, but you don't really need to do that if you don't want to, because you have a switch right down here that tells you if you want to have your rotary on or off. Okay, and then we can see where a laser is positioned. And now I'm just gonna drop in some artwork that's gonna be huge. There we go. We will drop this down to about 3, I think, will look good. Bring this over here. We're gonna rotate it. Bring it up like that. I'm gonna go ahead and do 500 DPI. So we're gonna come in here, we're gonna go 100% power, like 45% speed. Then we're gonna run a perimeter and make sure that is that it's rotating. Okay, I had unlocked the gantry to position the laser and then turn the rotary on, and if you do that, the laser won't home. So when you're positioning the laser for the engrave, you need to position it using the arrows on the unit to get it in place. Don't unlock the gantry and put it wherever you're putting it. I think maybe you could unlock your gantry, put it wherever you wanted to put it, lock the laser, have it go, and then turn on the rotary. But there's definitely an order of operations there. Okay, so since I have my image here framed up and this is where the laser is, I want to come over here, and I messed up on this first because I put this at center, which if you watch the way it runs, it thinks that's the center of the image now. So it runs down to halfway through. So basically this will carve off the top of your tumbler right now. So what you want to do is, since this is the position that I picked to put it in, I'm gonna pick this, I'm gonna pick middle right for its location. Okay, so now once we have that set to the middle right, and a lot of times if you have this set incorrectly, it'll give you an out of bounds thing because it thinks it's gonna go up here. I think I had it set to like top center or something or another, I don't know. Anyway, just so you know, now if I frame it now, see how the tumbler is spinning and the laser staying in one place? So we're gonna go ahead and hit go and cross our fingers. All right, we're just gonna run some water on that and take our magic eraser to it. just a melamine sponge. I buy these off of Amazon for like 50 for like 18 bucks. Wow, that is some clean lines. All right, guys, so I just want to stop in and say thanks for sticking around to this time in the video. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. And speaking of helping me out, I would just like to say thanks to all of my patrons, especially a new addition, Beezer, getting that single shout out for that $5 level. And it wouldn't be a Build Dad Build video if I didn't say thanks to all of my top tier or Boilermaker patrons. Stephen Mann, Eric Weiss, Derek Coates, Chuck Faulkner, Puffy Muffins, Jim Carter, Andy the Viking, Dwight Smith, Christopher Walters, and Todd Stewart. Cheersies. If you want to help out the channel and you've not joined my Patreon page, I will link it down below. Head on over, check it out, and if you're feeling froggy,
Jump.
this was much faster than if I would have done the same engrave on one of my diode lasers downstairs. It's very clean, not to say they wouldn't be. Really like the way it turned out, and it's just crisp and clean. It's kind of funky. Say it with me. It's kind of funky. Check it out. So good. So good. It looks even better when the lettering is the right way. But yeah, guys, check that out. But it's more of like a time-intensive build. It's not really a difficult build. And if something didn't fall apart or not have a screw put in it when I got it and had to put it together, then it's not a Build Dad Build. So remember, as makers, if we run into a problem, what do? Just ask Vanilla Ice.
There was a problem, yo, I'll solve it.
Now, that is it. Thanks for playing. I gotta get to work. Camera angle on it is, don't do that. This is magnetic sometimes. Hey man, someone stole your battery. Tell me what that's from. Only my really old school guys will know that one. Phone in there? The hell is it? There's a bug floating in my booze. Ooh, he's delicious. It's okay, it's okay.